Hi everyone. So today I'm going to walk you through our new trace details page that we have built. So coming starting with a very brief introduction about what traces is. Traces is the path of your request through your application, be it a monolith application with a single database or be it a microservice architecture. Traces are your savior. Traces provides you with clear observability and clear transparency with respect to how your request traverses through multiple applications. Traces are composed of spans. Spans is nothing but a structured log message with more context, with more hierarchy, and with more correlations baked in. Span represents a unit of work that any application or any service that did during the path of that request. Now, every span comes with a span context, which is very critical for distributed tracing, which is very critical for building the hierarchy. Span also contains span attributes, which are KV pairs, which can store metadata regarding the work that was performed by the span. Span also contains your span links, which is used to casually relate traces. Maybe a span or maybe a trace launched another background or an async work that was casually related with this particular operation. So span links come to our savior there. You have span events as well. Span events is again nothing but a structured log message which denotes some important work done at a particular singular timestamp during your request. Span that was, and your span contains span kinds, be it a client span or a server span or a producer or a consumer span. And your span contains the status as well. So imagine, or we heard from a lot of community users as well, like they had very large traces and none of the systems were able to load them onto the single screen of UI, let alone the debugging processes, but the applications were not even able to load them on the UI. So that was our motivation of building this new trace details page. So let us quickly walk through the new trace detail page. Let's say I want to open a trace which has a span by the name of, let's say, flat span 10. As you can see, we have three. Okay, let's open this particular trace. And the flame graph got rendered. We have the flame graph right here. And as you can see, this particular trace had a whooping 100K spans. And you can see we are able to load the same on the UI as well. You can navigate through it. There's no lag in the UI. You can quickly traverse to the entire trace. You can check particular events. Okay, this flat span, it was numbered as 10. The service name it came from, what was the host, what was the architecture, and whatever attributes that you want to see. Now that you have loaded such a large trace on your single UI screen, it's practically impossible or not feasible for a human eye to scan through all these 100K spans and make some sense out of it. So we have added a new search bar here, which will come to your help here right now. Let's assume this was a financial trading platform. And this each flat span or these span represents a stock sync from the market, maybe an HTTP call and a database commit for the price. Now let's say I'm maybe interested in a security which was numbered 6600. Maybe this was some security which had particular error, or I wanted to see how the maybe the latency of this particular security request was high. So as you can see, we navigated directly to the flat span 6600 and you're able to see all the details of this particular span. Okay, the security was named 6600. Maybe this was a critical security and you wanted to see some details out of it. Maybe you were interested that, okay, the HTTP request, this can be a hierarchical structure again as well. But this is just a representative span right now, but it's true for any kind of span or any kind of trace that you have. I wanted to see some network latency, or maybe this particular span took larger time than it was expected. So you can navigate through, you can filter on any attributes that you want. You can press command backslash and this list occupies a little more space. You can see whatever filters attributes that you want to filter on and will take you exactly to that span which satisfies it. And you'll have a nice up down arrow to navigate through it. And you can scroll through this entire area. You can check what are the sibling spans, what are the parent spans. And let's say I scroll to the top, the span was span 6400. and will dynamically fetch more spans for you. You'll have 6400 highlighted here again, and you can scroll up again, you can scroll down. There's absolutely no restriction on the same. One more thing that I would like to point out, which is my personal favorite, is okay, let's scroll back to the top. Let's scroll back to flat span 10. You see the spans from the flame graph model and the waterfall model are perfectly in sync. The timelines match. How it comes handy is, let's say you are at some span, which and you will be very quickly able to visualize where this span or this particular span lied in this whole timeline of a trace. So it gives you a very clear picture of what happened at any instant of time in a particular trace. You can jump right from here as well. Let's say you want to go to flat span 1524, you can click on it and will navigate you directly to the flat span 1524. You can check, see this particular span, these both lines are perfectly in sync. We also had a very frequent request that this particular area was a little less for the span names to be readable, and we gave you this draggable window. You can increase the size of the particular space, and you can consume the names even better. And one interesting part about this is these both always remain in sync. You can see the timelines dynamically adjusting here as well, the scales adjusting, and these still remain in the sync. So this is a new span. This is a new trace details page. You can play around with it. Let's open another trace. Let's see something else. Let's open another error trace. Maybe in a checkout service, there was some error. Right. So this is a trace. Maybe you can navigate on the top. Now you can see this particular trace has 4 errors. Okay. Show me what those 4 errors are. I'm particularly interested in these errors. You can filter on has errors true and will navigate you to the errors. Now you can see that the space was not very well here for all the span names. Okay, I have this feature. I'll extend and I can consume all of this better now. You can see you navigated to the first error trace. Maybe you want to see some, okay, what was the next error trace? Next error was, there was some error in the post call. Okay, what was the next error trace? What was the next error trace? You can easily navigate between these traces and will help you uh, narrow down your search space, traverse through this entire trace better. You can see the error traces here as well, error spans here. There was some error in this particular span. You can navigate to and from the flame graph to the waterfall as well. And we have also added a new exact time analysis here. This particular table helps you see what was the percentage of the time of a particular trace that was spent in a service. Let's say checkout cart service had almost 0.53% of the total time. Maybe you can see that, okay, front end and node generator took almost 100% of your trace time. So maybe front end took 15%. Maybe this was a bottleneck. Maybe you want to dig deeper into this. So we are in the process of adding a couple more uh, analysis as well. Maybe you'll see some more percentiles coming up, and you'll see some span events upgradation as well coming up. Will particularly show span events in this timelines as well. So that's on our roadmap as well. So the key point here being you can load any amount of spans if you want. Let us load one more bigger trace. Let's see how it works. Let's see open this particular trace. So this trace also had 10K spans, and see the amount of time it took to load this on the UI. Again, you can navigate here as well to, let's say, 600. Any span that you want and will help you navigate through it. You landed on the flat span 600 and you can easily traverse back again, traverse forward again, as we saw. So this is a new trace detail page. Do let us know